No, I do not work at Chipotle. I'm not gonna say it again.
Whoa, get it!
What's good, your boy? I'm grabbing up there today. I think we're talking about something that is very important and something that's very imperative that we understand, at least to the best of our abilities, which is fear, right? There's a lot of shit that is scary. Being alive is scary. There's a lot of stuff in life regarding the fact that we live in a society that is scary as hell, and we have to deal with it. And there's nothing we can do about that unless we want to kill ourselves, which I don't promote. Don't do that. That's the only way out, honestly. So if you don't want to do that, you gotta get used to it, or at least find a way to deal with it. I'm talking about this because this is something that I've been dealing with a lot recently. As of this last like 2-3 weeks, this last month and a half, there's been a lot of stuff that's happening in my life. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. I'll be, putting it out on in the channel. I'll be vlogging about it and talking about it here and there, so y'all can get a sense of what's going on with me. It's not necessarily anything bad, but it is some stuff that's happening, right? And so that's been on my mind. That's something I've been having to deal with, and that's really scary for me. Life is scary. Feeling scared about stuff isn't something that makes you less than or better than or anything. It just simply is, right? That's one of the biggest things I want y'all to take out this video, is that it's something that simply is. Things get easier for you to handle, but things don't get easier in reality, right? For me, at least, like apartment, about to get this apartment, trying to make sure that my businesses are right, trying to plan the next like year and a half because I only have a year left in school, hopefully. I'm also trying to make sure that I can graduate early if that comes. There's a lot of stuff that I can't control in these 4 regards, let alone trying to make sure that my girlfriend's okay and that everything can transition at least somewhat smoothly, and to try to cover all my bases when I move, to make sure that I'm not lost in the dust, or I forget something last minute and I end up having to pay the price for it, right? But that's something I've never done before, so it's gonna be scary, and that's fine. That's not good or bad. That simply is. And since it's something I've never done before, I have to get through it, and I'm trying to get through it the best way that I can. For I could say, like, when you're a kid, kindergarten, preschool, first grade, when you walk into your first class, I remember this, there was a kid named Ulysses in my 2nd grade class. It was his first day of school. He walked in, he cried damn near the whole class because he wanted his mom to come get him and pick him up, right? I remember thinking, dang, that's kind of crazy. But at that point, I had been in school for 3 years because I went to preschool. I was in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. So, first day of school, I had done it 2 times before. I knew I was going home to my mom. I wasn't really worried about it, right? That is a very accurate representation of like how fear works and how it works with humans specifically. For somebody else, this might be the first time they're doing it. I have to believe he was homeschooled until this time. So this is his first time ever being away from his mom. He started tweaking out, right? He was a cool kid after that, but he started tweaking out. First time ever dealing with this, or like one of the very first times he's having to deal with this. And it's scary. He doesn't know how to handle himself. Other kids, they've done it for 3-4 years. They do it every day, and they're fine. Neither of these groups are better or worse than each other. They simply are. And that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get y'all to get out of it. So if you're in high school and you're getting this pressure to pick your major, or like pick your college, or figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, first off, you shouldn't know what you want to do for the rest of your life at the age of 16, which is something that we can get into later. But that's something that, if you're afraid that that's coming, or you're scared, or you don't know what to do, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly normal. You should feel that way. That's a sign that you're functioning as a human being. And that's something that's normal and you should expect, and it's going to continue to happen as you get older and as you continue to live your life, right? Like I said before, things don't get easier in reality. You just get better at handling them. It comes to things like your future, your life. You never want to be too scared to do something, right? A lot of people are afraid to do something like start that business they want to do. Pursue social media, start a clothing brand, right? Even small things like becoming more social, right? They're afraid, and that's perfectly fine. You can be afraid, but do you want it enough to push through the fear so you can get better at it, so that you're no longer afraid of it? Or is that just something that you're gonna have to do? There's obviously things that happen once and then you never have to do them again to a certain degree. Like, you're in high school and you moved away from your parents and moved to college. You're only gonna do that once when you're 18 or 19 or 20, whatever, but you only do that move once, because a lot of times if you do it when you're an adult, there's a lot more life pressures on you. So it's not like going from this little sheltered egg to thrown in the real world. You're already in the real world if you do it later. So that's something that happens once and it never happens again. But moving somewhere is something that happens all the time. You might be scared, homesick when you're in college, or when you're in high school going to college, but it'll happen over and over again, right? And you'll get better at dealing with it, right? I know I'm saying a lot of the same stuff in this video, but trust me, I have a good point to get to, and I have a good reason to be saying this, right? Don't want y'all to be afraid to do anything that y'all want, whether that be pursuing something or becoming something. I talk about this a lot, but I believe a lot more people should be themselves, and a lot more people should stop trying to be somebody else or to try to be a version of themselves that makes other people happy, because at the end of the day, you're making the people happy that aren't going to be with you all the damn time. There's no point in being nonchalant and being chill if you're doing that for people that you're gonna see for 2 hours out of the day or 6 hours out of the day. You still have 18 more hours left in your day, and you're gonna be nonchalant for 6. You're gonna be nonchalant all day for 6 hours worth of, I guess, validation. That's crazy to me. I don't want y'all to do that. So I want y'all to be yourselves. I want y'all to feel how you want to feel. I want y'all to express yourselves the way you want to express yourselves, even if it's scary. Because at the end of the day, you'll just get better at dealing with it. If you want to be yourself and it's scary, be yourself more, and it'll be less scary. Now, I say all this and I double down on the fact that it's something that simply is, not necessarily a bad or a good thing, because especially as young men, we get told that there are feelings that we should be repressing, or feelings that we shouldn't be expressing, or feelings that we shouldn't have, because that's not what a man does, right? And I'm here to tell y'all that, you know, emotions are human. Saying that you can't feel some type of way isn't gonna stop you from feeling them, right? A lot of that toxic masculinity, man, it's not the other. Bro, you still gonna feel it. You gonna fight it for the rest of your life, and then you're gonna be depressed, and then you really not gonna have to deal with anything, right? Because you gonna yourself, right? That's crazy. You shouldn't have to deal with that, right? So I say that to come down and tell y'all that no matter what feelings you feel and how scary or whatever they feel like, no matter how against the way you've been raised they feel, every feeling that you have is valid. Now, when you act on those, that's a completely different story, because you have the ability to act on those. Feelings happen because you're a human being and because you have a brain. They're gonna come, they're gonna go. It is what it is. So you shouldn't be afraid to accept that or afraid to express your feelings if that's how you feel. So again, you shouldn't be afraid to accept or express how you feel if that's how you feel in the moment. Now, how you express that is something completely different, but you shouldn't be afraid to have them, express them, and accept that you have them, especially for my young men out there. That's something that is never gonna change for the whole time that you exist. If you feel sad whenever somebody makes fun of you and they call you a bitch for it, bro, I mean, you're not a bitch for feeling like that, but you're gonna feel sad every time somebody talks shit about you. That is what it is. I'm sensitive as hell. I crack jokes all the time with my friends, but sometimes they be saying something, I'm like, damn, that shit kind of hurt my feelings. I don't be sitting there like moping about it, because there's stuff that I have to do. I can't let that get me down, but I will feel how I want to feel, and I am going to express how I feel about that. Maybe not in front of them or not around them, because they're not the people that deserve my emotions. But when I'm in my safe space and I feel comfortable to do so, I will express my emotions. You know what I'm saying? I cry if I need to. Life's tough. I'm not gonna sit here and not cry. I'm not gonna sit here and hold back my feelings. I'm a passionate person. You know what I'm saying? I get mad. When I get mad, I get mad. When I get sad, I get sad. I'm not like, man, it's what it is. It's not is what it is. Nah, it very much is not what it is. This shit means something to me. And so as somebody who does that, and I get a lot of backlash for that, and a lot of people not gonna agree with me, I don't care. You can argue with the wall. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You gonna have the feelings. I wanna cry about it. You wanna hold it in. Who's gonna last longer? You gonna get stressed out, die earlier. That's crazy. Never be afraid to express yourself. But to piggyback off of that, when you're trying to do something that you've never done before, if you're trying to pursue something you've never done before, or trying to get to a level that you've never been before, there is a fear that comes with trying to do it. The fear of failure. There's a fear that you will never be able to get there. There's a fear that you're going to be putting so much effort in to not see anything. And the thing that people always say is you have to just keep pushing past it and just ignore it. I think you have to accept the fact that you are going to be afraid. You're going to be afraid of stuff that you don't know about. There are a lot of kids who see dogs. They're big ass creatures. These kids are like maybe this big. The dog is 4 times the size. They're fucking horrified. And then they get older and the dog's whatever, right? Maybe it's because they're smaller. Maybe it's because they know more about the dog, but their fear subsides and they're no longer afraid of them, or they're not as afraid as they were, right? That's the same thing when you're pursuing anything. You're scared to fail. You're scared to be a content creator because you don't think it's gonna work. Look, when you start putting on those videos, putting out that content, look, I know, I got videos that have 6 views on this channel. I'm still going because I understand that I'm afraid to fuck up. I'm afraid to not get there. But I've done it so much that I understand that my fear of not getting there isn't realistic because people have been there. As long as I try my best and do what I think is right, I'm going to get there. So it's only the fear of the unknown. I'm only afraid of what I do not know. And what I do not know is how I'm going to get there. But if I can just trust that I am going to get there, I can accept that fear and know that it's a feeling and that I feel it, but it has no hold on reality. It has no hold on how I'm going to act. And that is how I want y'all to accept and access and use your fear of failure. You're afraid that you're not gonna make the team. You're afraid you're not gonna make the team because you don't know how to make the team. But if you know that there are people that have made the team before, then you know that there's a chance that you can. Oh, but I'm still afraid that I can't. You're gonna feel that way about everything. So you just gotta accept that is something, and just don't let that destroy your confidence or your pride or how you're going to handle it. If that's something that you want, you gotta be afraid and still do it while you're afraid. If we go all the way back to like whenever we were cavemen, if there was a lion in front of your kid and it was about to eat your kid, you could be scared out your pants. Literally, no pants. But you still gotta go save your kid. You don't know how you're gonna do it. You might die, but you still gotta go do it because that's what you have to do. That's what you want to do. You want to save your child. You want to make the team. You want to start that content creation. You're afraid that you don't know how to, and so you don't do it. But you're never gonna know how to unless you do it. The only thing that's stopping you is this fear. It's not real. It's literally blinds, making you think it's a window, but it's a hallway. All you gotta do is try to press through. You have nothing to lose. If you press your hand on the blinds and it is a window, you're not gonna fall out. You're gonna realize it's a window and say, okay, let me take a step back. If it is a hallway and you walk through, you get to walk through. You have nothing to lose. Something that a lot of people don't realize they have. And I didn't realize I had until I did some real deep introspection on it. But the fear of success. You're afraid of your progress. You're afraid of making it. What Conquest say?
I am a victim of my own success. Conquest.
Some people actually do suffer from their success. A lot of people are scared to succeed. Where does this come from? A lot of times because you don't believe in yourself, and then when stuff starts to happen, or you think of the fact that it can't happen and how realistic it is that it can happen, you're scared that you won't be able to handle it at that point. It's almost like a form of imposter syndrome. You don't think you deserve it, and you don't think that you can maintain it. So you start to trip out and you start self-sabotaging. You're scared to see your business take off because that means that you'll have people that actually depend on you to produce, and you don't know if you can produce. The people that depend on Nike to produce constantly. They produce constantly. They never mess up in your mind, right? Oh, they always hit something. Somebody always like something theirs. Yeah, and I'm not Nike, so if they're depending on me, then I'm not gonna be able to do it. But that's just not true. If you have the people that support you, no matter what you do, they're gonna support it. And if they don't, you take that as a learning experience to flip it and tumble it into something that's better. No matter what, it's a win-win situation. So you can't be afraid to succeed. You can't be afraid to start that content creation business and finally get your 1,000 subs. You can't be afraid to start that clothing brand and get your first 50 orders. Oh, you have nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? You have nothing to lose. It's all benefit. It's all up from here. You gotta sit there. You gotta accept the fact that your fear is something that you're gonna feel constantly, something that you feel right now. I'm scared of this, but that's okay. I'm gonna be scared of a lot of things. This is just another one of them. But if I get rid of that fear, hypothetically, if I took out the fact that I was afraid of it, would I still want to do it? And that's when you'll know. Anyways, y'all, make sure to like and subscribe, comment if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a comment about stuff that maybe y'all were scared to do, that y'all overcome, or anything that y'all are scared to do now so we can hype y'all up in the comments. Let me know if there's anything y'all want me to talk about specifically that's happening in your life, something that's happening in the world. We can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always here to put y'all on game and help y'all out. So do this for y'all. And yeah, tune in next time when I see how much cardboard I can eat with one.